Video is an art form, and art is subjective. Videographers, filmmakers, cinematographers, editors, and content creators all have different views on how video content should be produced. However, despite all their differences in opinion and differences in style, there are still three video basics that they all still use to create their art. Hello, my name is Brian and I have been a professional videographer for broadcast television news for about a decade. And I have shot, edited, and watched some amazing videos in these 10 years. But I have also shot, edited, and watched some truly terrible videos over these years. Now, what makes these videos really terrible? Well, they were making one or two or possibly all three of these crucial video mistakes. Let's get to it. Well, mistake number one is your shot composition. Before you hit the record button, I want you to look at your camera screen and tell me, is what's in frame making sense to the narrative that you're trying to tell? This is why every shot in a film is planned out so carefully so far in advance. Now, of course, you're probably not making a film, but even with your video, you can still plan out your basic shots. Things to check while you're composing your shot are the background, your foreground, the position of your subject, and the position of the camera to your subject. Also the framing of your subject, as well as the focal length that you're using to film your subject. So as an example of shot composition, let's talk about our shot that we're in right now. It's a typical YouTuber talking head shot. I got my camera placement front and center, directly in front of me, eye level. That way I can be relatable to you, the viewer. I had the appropriate amount of headroom. If I had less headroom, I'd be cutting off my head. If I had more headroom, I would just look short. So let's look at the subject's placement here in the frame. I am standing front and center, looking at you directly. If I was standing off to the side like this, you would almost expect some kind of graphic or someone else to appear in the shot with me. So for this instance, I want to be front and center, like we said before. Now my eyeline is directly into the lens, so I can talk to you, the viewer. However, if I was looking off to the side of the camera, you would almost think that someone is interviewing me, like in a documentary or a news story. Now, also on that same note, I've been noticing a lot of documentaries filmed just like this, where they're looking off into their interviewer, and there's a lot of dead space right behind their head. Now, I don't know what kind of artistic art form that is, and that's something I personally don't agree with, unless I'm talking about something that's uncomfortable, because this shot just naturally makes people uncomfortable because it's almost like a horror movie. You almost expect something to appear right behind them. Now, the reason a lot of interviews are shot like this is because it's just more comfortable. You're seeing a leading line coming from the eyeballs, going off screen to the interviewer, and it just makes you feel like you know the dynamic. There's someone off screen asking questions. This person's talking about their events, their stories. Now again, my camera is just about eye level with me, because it seems more relatable, seems more trustworthy. Now, if we were to lower the camera, it would almost feel like I am above you. I think myself higher of you, or you think of me higher than you. Or you think I'm a superhero who just saved your life. Now, if the camera was higher than me, then obviously you would be the one in power. You would almost be looking down to me like you're my parent talking down to a child misbehaving. Next, let's look at our focal length, or our zoom. Right now, I'm kind of a close shot, but also a little bit more of a medium shot. This is your standard kind of upper body headshot, talking head. Now, with this zoomed in a little bit more, it's going to be more of a tighter frame. It's going to make me look more cramped and uncomfortable. Now, with this zoomed out, this isn't terrible, but for me, it leaves a little bit too much empty space. I'm filming this in an office that doesn't look super fantastic. So I like to close in the shot, and I think that when you're looking at your video, you want to see what you want to kind of crop out of the shot sometimes. But again, don't crop out too much. And one of my biggest pet peeves is when people don't level off the horizon of their shot. You look like you're going down a hill, look like you're going uphill. Just take a moment, level out your shot. It's gonna make a world of difference, and it's gonna make it look like you actually care about what you're filming. And not to mention, you're gonna hurt a lot of people's necks filming like this. So the second common mistake I see in bad videos is bad lighting. In my opinion, lighting is probably the single most creative aspect to videography. People can use a number of different lights, different lighting techniques to convey the story that they are trying to tell. Now, for instance, I'm a news videographer, so my job with lighting is to get as much light on someone's face as I possibly can so that we can see our subject, we can see who's doing the storytelling, we can see who our main character is in our news story. Now, sometimes that's as simple as putting a light directly on top of our camera, right above the lens, so it is straight on, hitting that person right in the face. Now, sometimes it's not the most flattering look, it's a very flat look, but I'm still putting light in their face so you know who they are, you can relate to the story better, and it just doesn't look like it's a witness protection interview. Now, to spice things up a little bit for broadcast news, we'll take a light, put it on a stand, put it off to the side, and kind of let it hit off an angle so to give it a little bit more three-dimensional look. Now, if we're talking about movies or documentaries, cinematographers, directors of photography, grips, gaffers, they all work together to create an atmosphere of lighting around their subject. It's not going to be as obvious as this is to me. If you're looking at a movie, it's made to make you forget that you're actually watching a production. It's more of a natural fill. They can kind of put lights in windows. They can even use the sun as their key light and just use diffusion around it. Now, am I saying that you need to go out and buy all these things to make your video? No. But chances are, if you're on YouTube looking up video tutorials, you probably want to do something similar to this. Or you want to make your Zoom call look better, or make your family video look better. My suggestion would be to get yourself one good light. Basically, a good light is anything that can put enough light on you to separate you from the background. You can find all kinds of lights on Amazon. You can even find some lights around your house that you can use. Now, if you're going to use some of these lights, you want to make sure it's a little bit more of a soft light. Give yourself some flattering shadows on your face. Unless, of course, you want that hard light for some type of effect. But normally soft lighting is what most people want to have, just so it's a little bit more flattering. Now, if you aren't going to buy a light with a softbox like I did, you can always just take the light you have at home, take a shower curtain or maybe even a thin bed sheet, and hang that up in between you and the light. And what that'll do is help spread out the light, create a soft light that's going to hit you. Now, something else you can do with that light is actually turn it around, let it bounce off a wall or maybe even like a poster board. And that's going to help diffuse the light coming back at your face, going to soften out those shadows. It's just another cheap way that you can light yourself and save money. Do me a favor, go down the comment section and let me know if you would like me to do a video about lighting techniques. And if you subscribe, you'll be notified when that video comes out. Now, the third most common mistake I see in bad videos is probably the most crucial one, and that's your audio. It doesn't matter if you have truly stunning visuals in your video. If you have bad audio, no one is going to listen to that. Imagine yourself as a viewer trying to watch a video that has bad audio. No one likes the sound of static or the hum of an air conditioning unit. So you need to have good audio to keep your viewers' attention. And as a matter of fact, in today's world, there is no excuse to have bad audio. You can go online and find a microphone for your specific camera or even your phone for as low as like $20. Now, of course, you want to make sure the microphone fits your style of video making. For instance, if I'm going to be far away from my camera, I'm not going to rely on the microphone on top of the camera to pick up my audio. I'm going to have a lav mic that's actually going to stay on my body as I walk around the frame, and you can hear me clear as day. Now, for this style of video where I'm going to stay in one spot, I'm going to be relatively close to my camera, it's okay to find a microphone that you can fit on top of it that's going to pick up your voice pretty clearly. Now, one microphone that I love using is the DJI wireless mics. These are wireless mics that transmit back to a receiver that is plugged into your phone or camera. They also have internal recording capabilities in case you lose signal, you still get to keep your precious audio. These are also sold in pairs so you can use them with a guest if you would like. Now, if lav mics aren't your thing, you can always just buy a shotgun mic that you can sit right in front of your camera, on top of your camera, or even just right outside the frame using a boom pole. Overall, guys, I just want you to think before you hit the record button. Make sure that shot is composed. Make sure your lighting is sufficient. Make sure you have good, clean audio. If you check all three of these before you hit the record button, I guarantee you more people will start watching your videos. Now, if you liked what we talked about here today, go ahead, leave a like on this video, and stay subscribed for future videos. And if you're in the market for getting a new camera, especially kind of a vlog type camera, you should check out this video right here on the DJI Pocket 3.